Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time you're listening, welcome to another episode of Podcast Pundits. This is a very quick and special edition so we can give you our predictions for the seasons. As usual, I am your host, Del Estrada. The transfer window is still open and I'm still a free agent. As usual, let me introduce my fellow pundits, Strives.
Yeah, man, what you say, man? It's your boy Strives, rocking one of the older school Arsenal tees for this episode still. Yeah, man, looking forward to hearing you lot's predictions. You guys kind of know what mine is already because I said it on the last episode. You see how you're a free agent, man. Don't come back to Arsenal still.
Yeah, it's meant to be a quick episode, but this is why we take so long because you just speak for no reason. Next up, Marley Marl.
That was fucking
Marley Marl here, man. Out here, B. Predictions. Done now. That's all I got. Yeah, we're on the clock, man. We're on the clock.
Dre, man.
Yeah, Dre, man. United fan. Yeah, I'm here with my predictions. Let's get it going.
Finally, Joey.
Oh, it's your boy Joey Nomadic wearing extra small top.
Yeah, I noticed that still. What's going on?
Oh, what?
Jimin, yeah.
I'm glad we're the best song, bruv.
Cool. So yeah, listeners, you can find us on all major platforms. That's Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. And you can interact with us on X and TikTok. So let's get into it. I started with Strives. So yeah, Strives, you give me your predictions. Your top 8 predictions for the season.
Yeah, so my top 8. I think the winners is going to be Manchester City. Runners-up's going to be Liverpool. Third is going to be us. We're going to be Arsenal. Fourth, I've changed it. I thought I had Tottenham in there, but I think Manchester United are going to be fourth. I think they've done some good business in there. Tottenham.
Sorry, host. Can we interject straight away, please, bruv? Let's talk about Liverpool being second, B.
I'm gonna let him finish his 8.
Yeah, man.
He's top 8, then we can go back to it.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, so then fifth's gonna be Spurs, I reckon. I've got Villa in 6, but I'm wondering if I should swap Spurs and Villa around. Yeah, I'm gonna say Villa 6. I'm gonna Newcastle 7th. I think they without no Europe or anything like that, they should hopefully have some bit of luck. And then West Ham's gonna be my my shock edition. Like I don't think Chelsea. I think Chelsea's going to get worse. So I'm going to put West Ham in there.
And so let me just repeat that. So you said City first, Liverpool second, Arsenal third.
Yep.
United fourth.
Yep.
Fifth was who?
Spurs. Villa 6, Newcastle 7th, and West Ham 8. Do you want my relegations?
Yes.
Yeah, man. So my relegation candidates are Nottingham Forest, Southampton, and Ipswich Town.
And Ipswich. Well, initially we did say everyone's gonna go through their list, then we can discuss
it.
So
yeah, I couldn't help myself.
So Mars, I'll let you go next with your predictions.
Hang on, sorry, but just in case you might forget what your gripe was with Strive.
No, we know.
No, I ain't gonna forget. You know what my gripe is.
Okay,
you know
good.
exactly. You know exactly.
So I want all the smoke on Strive.
All right, cool. So Mars, you go. Your top 8.
All right, I'm gonna go Man City first, Arsenal second. However, let me caveat. I would have put Arsenal first, yeah, but genuinely, yeah, my hater switch is it can't go any other direction than maximum hate. But I'm like, I literally put Arsenal first, and I was just like, no, this is not who I am. This is ingenuine. So I've got Man City first, but I feel like Man City are going to have wobbly this season. I don't know why. Speculation, I guess. All right, Man City, Arsenal, Man United third, Liverpool fourth.
Yeah.
Liverpool fourth, Aston Villa fifth. I've gone for West Ham sixth, and I've gone Spurs seventh, and then Newcastle eighth. And then my bottom 3, I've gone Everton, Southampton, and Leicester City.
Cool. Next up, Drayman.
Yeah. So my ones, I've gone Arsenal first, second Man City, third Liverpool, fourth Man United, fifth Aston Villa, sixth Chelsea, seventh Spurs, eighth Newcastle, and relegation, I've gone for Southampton, Leicester City, and Ipswich.
Cool. And Jerry.
Yeah, I've gone top of the pile. I'm gonna go with Arsenal. Sorry. Man City, I'm gonna go top of the pile because I don't think Arsenal have done enough in the transfer window to upset them. Arsenal second. I'm gonna go Tottenham third.
Yeah.
And Liverpool fourth. And then after that, I'm going to go Aston Villa, Man United, Chelsea, and Newcastle.
Cool. And your bottom
I'm going to go Leicester, Southampton, Ipswich. Just play it safe, straight back down.
Yeah. And Ipswich. Right. For me, I'm going to miss. I feel like I'm back at work. What did I say? Bear with me, guys. Right. So for me, I said Arsenal first, then City, then Liverpool third, United fourth, Spurs fifth, Newcastle, Villa, then Chelsea eighth. And relegation, I said Leicester, Ipswich, and Southampton. I think Southampton will definitely come bottom. Cool. So now we have our list. I'll let you go first, Miles. You had an issue with Strives' list, top four, in which he had City, Liverpool second, Arsenal third, and United fourth. What was your discrepancy?
My issue is or my concern is Liverpool obviously being second. I'm just intrigued to wonder why that is.
Why not though?
Because Klopp couldn't do it in 2 seasons running, and Klopp was the guy. He was the second coming after Pep, and obviously Arteta's making an appearance now. But what makes you think Klopp, who I don't believe many people heard about him prior to Klopp saying, "Oh no, Klopp, oh no, Klopp." Is that right, Jules?
So
Not sure.
Okay, so basically, what I would probably then say to answer your question is, I feel that Klopp left Liverpool in decent state, in my opinion, in the fact that he kind of started off a bit of a rebuild. And I feel like without the injuries that Liverpool suffered, I feel like Arsenal were a lot more fortunate than like your Liverpools and some of the other clubs, whereby we had the most of our back line available for most of the season last season, if not all of the season, bar your Zinchenko and what have you not. Our spine pretty much was fit. Declan Rice missed a couple of games here and there. Saka missed a couple of games here and there. I feel like it's not usual to get that kind of luck, like season after season, and not the usual to have that kind of misfortune season after season for, let's say, a Liverpool. And I think Slot has proven that this guy's got tactical nous to get a tune out of players, and he hasn't got all of his players there. He beat Arsenal in pre-season. He had a decent pre-season. And I just don't think Arsenal's done enough to capitalise on the momentum, and finishing second twice in a row, I feel like we might have missed that opportunity. So
you think it's proven based on what you've seen?
Yeah, it's a bit of a hunch. Yeah, it's a bit of a.
It is a bit of a stretch there, but
it's a bit of a. I wouldn't say a stretch, but I'll say it's a hunch. Still.
No, it's definitely a stretch.
It's definitely a stretch. What's a stretch and what's a hunch?
A hunch is just, when you basically you just have a feeling that something's going to happen.
And what's a stretch?
Stretch is going like something is, like you're basically saying it's far fetched, like it's unlikely. But this is Liverpool that was not too long ago one of the best teams in the world.
No, but we're saying it's a bit of a stretch based on you basing it off his pre-season. And as Marley Miles said in the beginning, no one knew Arne Slot before he came. We've seen a few pre-season games, and then fair enough, you can put him in a certain position, but you're saying you're putting him above Arsenal based on the fact that because Klopp couldn't do it, a new manager is going to come in and build on what Klopp has done.
I think it's an emotional
far-fetched.
I think you put Liverpool.
Are we saying what he couldn't do, like as in finishing second, is like a pinnacle in
No, you're
game?
saying
he could, but I think more importantly, I think I think it's an emotional response because I think it's you're more disappointed that Arsenal haven't done probably what you think should have been done in pre-season, which is sign a striker, and because of that, you think, or your feeling is that they're going to be worse off, but I don't think they're going to be worse off than Liverpool.
No.
I can't see how that makes.
No, I don't.
And especially based on the
man.
fact that, so before you go start, especially based on the fact that at this stage, both teams haven't really made much signings. I know you're disappointed in Arsenal to what Marley Marl's saying, but this guy hasn't made more signings to improve a team like Liverpool, and they came third to Arsenal. So based on the fact if Arsenal went in the game with the same season, the same manager, and they've made 2 improvements to their team, why do you think this manager, whose first season at Liverpool,
that's what I wanted to say.
If you extrapolate from last season,
that's what I wanted to say. Like, I'm not saying that I feel like we're going to be worse off, because actually we haven't lost any players. We've retained all our players, and we've potentially added 2, Calafiore, and then there's rumours that Marino might be added into the squad.
And Timber as well.
Timber's back, but we don't know what we don't know how his fitness is going to be throughout the season. He had a decent pre-season, but then he had to miss the last couple of games because there were rumours that there was some discomfort in his foot. So that just shows me that I think he was training today. So so that just shows me there could be fitness concerns in regards to Timber. So again, like we're relying on the same Arsenal that we saw last season that had a good run of like an injury-free spell, so to speak. And I don't know that if Liverpool, that was leading the league for most of the season last season, if they didn't have the injuries that they had, that they end up finishing 9 points behind Arsenal in second, or 11 points behind City. You get what I'm saying? So I'm just thinking with their team, maybe they add a player, maybe they don't. But then this new manager that seems to be competent at the very least, I think you can argue the toss whether Arsenal second or third.
But it's the Prem, isn't it?
It is the Prem.
And to that point of Liverpool with injuries, like who are they? So what injuries in Liverpool squad currently would have a detrimental effect to their season, like it would last season? Jota, who gets injured a lot.
Salah
who are
last season for majority of the games as well.
Who's that?
Mo Salah.
But he's usually
he's usually fit. But what's McAllister? I feel like McAllister gets injured quite a lot as well, right?
He missed a couple games, but I think he was quite readily available, to be fair, for most of the season. I think Soboslai missed a couple as well.
Yeah, a few, yeah.
We did lose. Obviously, we lost Trent for a majority of the season, where luckily we had the young right back. Conor Bradley. Yeah, and then obviously Konate does his thing where he goes missing, and luckily we had Kwanzaa. So I mean, players did go missing last season, and then you never had
a left back. You never had a left back for most of the season.
Yeah, that's true, because we lost Simicast and we lost. So Joe Gomez was playing left back. So that's a very good point he raised. My again, in the same way, a striker never comes to the Premier League and is usually top scorer. Haaland broke that. I would say that a manager never comes to the Premier League and challenges for the title, but things can happen in it. So I can't disagree with what Strives is saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, Conte did it, didn't he?
Well, Conte's he had won. He had experience from winning, and he had a pedigree already. Arne Slot doesn't have the pedigree, and he's coming from a lower league, from the Dutch league, a lower tier league from the Dutch league. So it is. I think you are giving him a lot of credit, especially if you're just basing it off
him and Liverpool. Liverpool, and I'm also just thinking we had those. You see, those 2 seasons where we were shot contenders when we bottled it that season, and then last season again, where literally we were near perfect in the second half, and every time we raised the levels, City raised the levels with us. And when they raise those levels, the difference between them and Arsenal is they get medals, they get trophies, they get that photo moment. I haven't seen, I haven't even seen this alleged brilliant Arsenal team win a major honor other than the Community Shield.
But saying that there's no suggestion that they won't potentially do it again and run City close to the line again.
It's true.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's the thing.
I agree with you. I think we probably will run them close to the line, but I just feel like we can argue the toss whether we end up second or third, just based on I don't feel like we've used this momentum to push ourselves. Like I don't even think it's an emotional response. I just think I've been saying we needed a forward player, a striker for the last 2 seasons. And okay, let me ask you guys this before and then you guys can move on to someone else. If Bayern Munich versus Arsenal, was being played again, quarterfinals, UCL. Now we've got the same team. All that's added now is Marino and Calafiore. What do we qualify into the semi-finals with that team, or do you still give us the same kind of percentage?
No, because it's Champions League, and you don't win Champions League, isn't it? So
that's true.
On that one, Strauss.
So my thing is, I want to be phrasing that question to you guys, and you guys are thinking about it.
Okay,
You know
and then in order for people to rethink that, you're saying all Arsenal need is a forward, and then
Bro,
that question everyone will be like convincing like Arsenal will get over the line again.
Not a forward, forward.
Maybe, but okay.
Let's slide that conversation because who is their forward?
So, that's
what I'm saying.
So imagine, it was Calafiore brought in, Marino brought in. Let's say Eze from Crystal Palace was brought in, and let's just say another forward. A forward was brought in. It doesn't even have to be the one that I want. Let's just say it was someone who's. Let's say it was Tone. All right, Gyökeres then. Gyökeres, Marino, Calafiore, and Eze from Crystal Palace. Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm saying we're semi-finals, bro. I'm saying to you that there's a good chance.
And you're saying semi-final based on the fact that Gyökeres is just a forward, not that he's a forward that may fit into the Arsenal team. He's just a forward.
He's a Champions League forward.
I'm saying.
What does that mean?
I'm saying he's to be honest. Remember, he wouldn't be my first choice, but I'm saying he's a goal scorer because remember, like we're strong in most departments, Della. But what I'm trying to say is where our weakest department hasn't been strengthened. We conceded the least. We won the Golden Glove last season. You know what I mean? So in terms of where we were strongest, it was our defensive area. I mean, in terms of priority position, in my estimation, that's not the priority position to fill. I'd have been looking to strengthen one of the forward areas. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And I ask you, man, that question. So you, man, just to kind of help you see why I'm phrasing my predictions the way I'm phrasing it.
The one thing that I would say though, Strauss, is Champions League is again it's a different ball game to the Prem. Whereas I feel like the Prem, you guys have shown consistently, like for at least the past 2 seasons, like until now, that you guys are on the right track to basically going on to win it now. Again, you're not conceding. You're still scoring. I know you keep saying about striker, but you're still scoring enough goals to be up there as one of the best teams in the Prem. Do you know what I mean? So
I think the point is that he's identified specific threats, areas where Arsenal aren't threatening enough for him, and he thinks that he's just using Bayern as an example. Where if you have those threats in the Premier League, he feels that there's a way better chance of them winning the league. So forget about Bayern. I think it's just an example. That was a big test that technically...
But still, Joey, my thing is the Champions League is still going to be for every team is a little bit
forget about the Champions League.
No, but I'm just saying in terms of it's a competition, isn't it?
No, of course.
Whereas I feel like the Premier League is a little bit different.
No, his point is
let's not get too hung up on that. Let's not get too hung up on that.
Where was West Ham in your predictions, J-Man? Just a quick one.
I'll put them after Newcastle. They would have been 9th.
Okay, cool. So, but somebody had West Ham like in the top 5, I think.
I had them at 6.
Yeah, you had them 6. All right. So West Ham, they took points of Arsenal last season. They've got stronger. They're in my top 8. Yeah, Tottenham have got stronger. They took a point. They took a point from us.
What's this got to do with Liverpool being Liverpool playing the same team as well? Then, right?
But what I'm trying to say is Because when Draymond's making the point of the Prem's different to the Champions League, it's very much correct. But what I'm trying to say is everyone's strengthening, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
but
we had a head start. Everyone's getting stronger, and some of the teams that are getting stronger are teams that have taken points of us. Fulham, even they've taken one of our star players, ESR.
I don't understand the point you're making, because if everyone's strengthening, Liverpool will play them as well. Arsenal will play them as well. So why do you, based on the fact that everyone's strengthening, means that Liverpool will now finish above Arsenal?
I know, but I gave my reasons for the Liverpool.
So where you getting with what you're saying?
Because
everyone's strengthening.
Because Raymond's talking about the Premier League being different to Champions League. So I'm just trying to use the example that the Premier League, every team's getting stronger. So it's not just even the top contending teams. All the teams are getting stronger. And so obviously when everyone's getting stronger, people are going to take points of rival. They're going to take points of my rival and of
I think the way
they're also going to take points of us. Maybe because they really took points of us when they were weaker. So the Premier League in general is just getting stronger and stronger in terms of the way people are adding to the team. I know it's not been the greatest of windows, but everyone's getting stronger. And in my opinion, I don't believe Arsenal have positioned themselves in a place where we can ultimately say that. I'm surprised that so many of you, man, have got Arsenal's champions elect, to be honest with you. But
no, I think what I was trying to say is almost like, for me, the Champions League, I would put it as a sprint, and the Premier League, I'd put it as a marathon. So in the grand scheme of things, someone can always have a blip in the Champions League, but in the Premier League, you can have a blip, but you can still go on to win it. Like you said, you could lose like 2-3 games with the top dogs. You can still go on to win it. So for me, like I said, the least amount of goals you've conceded, you will still score enough goals throughout the whole team. And you've been doing that consistently all the way along, and you've not stopped as well in pre-season. Okay, you've had obviously one game where you had a blip, but you still have those qualities going into this season that we've seen for the past 2 seasons. So nothing in my mind has stopped me from saying, why aren't Arsenal going on to win it this season?
Okay, let's move on to MJ's. So MJ had City first, Arsenal second, United third, Liverpool, Villa, West Ham, Spurs, and Newcastle 8th. Any issues with or any discrepancies with Marlon's top
the immediate 8? The immediate one is that top
can you go through the top 4 again, please? One more time.
City, Arsenal, United, and Liverpool.
Yeah, the immediate one is that top 3. Like, what has United done to springboard from 8th to 3rd? Like, I don't mean to take the piss out of United, but come on, guys, that's a little bit optimistic. Don't you think?
I'm actually surprised that you came out of your skin to say that on wax.
What's that? Me?
You have no shame.
Huh? No,
I've never known shame.
No, genuinely, I'm actually pretty confident for this season. I don't think we're actually going to be as trash as we were last season. I mean, this is heavily caveated by. I mean, we just can't have as many injuries as we had last season. But I think in our problem areas, which are at the minute like defense, I think we've pretty strengthened. We've strengthened pretty well in that department. I think we still need a DM. I think if we do get a DM, I'm more than assured that we'll at least get third place. Because I still think there's still a capacity for us to be a bit open in the centre of the park. Casemiro's looked okay in the last game in the Charity Shield, but in pre-season, I don't think he particularly looked great. He looks slimmer, he looks in shape, but I just don't think he's got the legs to provide enough coverage across the pitch, and I think that's going to be an issue. So I think DM's an issue, but I think the signing of the Lit will complement Alessandro Martinez, who's also now fit again. I think that's going to be a pretty decent centre-back pairing to start the season. Another one of my concerns is Onana. I think I voiced that previously. I think he does have he has a few mistakes in him, and he has a lapse of judgment quite often, and I think that might be a concern. But I think, or I hope rather, that with the defensive capabilities of De Ligt and Lissandro Martinez ahead of him, I hope that he's not getting peppered as much as he was last season. And to his credit, he got peppered a lot last season. And he had a pretty high ratio of saves per shot. So, I mean, my thing is I worry about him, but I mean, last season he did show that, you know, if he is getting peppered, he can pull off a pretty decent save. So, yeah, man. I think we'll be all right this season. So
You'll definitely improve on top 8, but top 3, but I think that's a little bit optimistic, personally.
where did we finish the season before? Wasn't it third? Third, right?
Yeah. Where did I think I put you 4th. I think 4th is, and I think it's going to be a tough fight with Tottenham.
I think
to go third above Liverpool.
I don't think Tottenham are going to do well this season. You know, I don't know what.
Not going Karen, sorry.
I don't think he's going to live long enough to even see it happen.
Who, ETH? I don't think he's going to get sacked. Everyone keeps saying that, but I don't even think he's going to get sacked. You know, I think he'll be all right. Yeah,
I think like you said, Molly, if we keep the players that we have fit, we'll definitely be up there. I think the defense is a big thing. If you're not conceding, that you've already solved stage 1. Scoring is another thing, but we were leaking goals silly last season.
We're leaking goals, and obviously Rashford was off form. I do think Rashford's going to have I've said it on the last episode. I think Rashford is going to have a good season. We've added Xerxes. I mentioned it a few times. I've probably over emphasized the point, but when I did see him against AC Milan, he was playing for Bologna and he was the best player on the pitch. And at that time, he was linked with Arsenal, and I was sad. So, I mean, we've our transfer window currently is probably about a B minus, a B minus. I think if we get rid of some guys that probably ain't going to play as much, like the likes of the Lindelof, who else is there, McTominay. I think if we get rid of these guys and bring in the DM that we're saying that we can't find unless we get rid of guys, I think we'll be all right, man. I don't really think we'll be all right, but only time will tell, man. Obviously, this is on wax now, so I mean, you can not laugh at me, but if I'm right, then yeah, I'm gonna be unbearable, boys. Just so you know.
Interesting.
So, Strive, you had West Ham as 8th, and Marley Mar, you had West Ham as 6th. Why do you have them so high up?
Kudus was cooking last season. I think he's going to continue where he left off. Bowen was quite impressive, I'd say, last season, where he had the stints up top, and I think he's quite competent on the right. I think they've added quality as well to the.
You got Fulkrug as well, who's a proper target man.
But all of a sudden, we all rate the German league, and we expect him to come out and start banging.
I mean, he looked good for Dortmund, and I mean, I guess it's like it's certain.
No tax, no.
Sorry, with huh?
Oh yeah,
no German tax.
Yeah, I don't know. With strikers, I feel like you do have a certain certain competencies that are better transferable in different leagues, and I think he seems like a pretty good target man, bro. So as well as people rate Tony for being able to hold at the ball and bring people into play, I think Fulkrug is pretty good at that as well, and he's a good finisher. So I don't know, man. I don't know. West Ham's a funny one, but because West Ham always start the season, not always, but the season when West Ham start the season, you think they're going to be lit. And then they might be in the relegation zone. So it's they could have a really good or really, really shit.
Yeah.
Man, we'll see. I'll put them pretty high in a minute. And they've got Spider-Man as well. I don't know.
Yeah. And then another one, you put Everton to be relegated.
Yeah, that's heavily due to, I think they're going to get another point this start.
Oh yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
what about City? City might get a point deduction. That might be the only way we win.
Let's not go off tangent on that one. Cool. So next up, Dre, you've got Arsenal first, City second. Why do you think Arsenal are going to pip City to the title this season?
Because I think last season, even though City won it, I don't think they had a great season. And that's just, again, I was just looking over their team as well. The amount of aging players that they have in their team. So they've got Rodri, Walker, Silva, Akanji, Ake, Kovacic, De Bruyne, all like aging players. It will be another year added to them. The Premier. It's not
just to add, Bob, who is meant to potentially have a good season, he's just been confirmed injured for several months. So that's another issue.
That's a big blow.
Yeah,
well, that shows you though. That just shows you they're gonna go back in the market and strengthen, bro. Alvarez, he got 18 goals, 12 assists across all competitions for City. That's like 30 goals and assists, goal contributions. And they're looking to offload him to Atletico.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So exactly. So I had him. Obviously, they sold him. Then obviously Edison's also open to a move. He might go to Saudi.
They're going to replace him, and that's what makes them scary.
Yeah.
So Edison.
Edison.
Alvarez.
Oh, Alvarez. Yeah.
Sorry,
Exactly.
just to push back on that. Obviously, you said De Bruyne's aging. I'm not sure how old he is, but he didn't really play that much last season.
But they had Alvarez.
But I think it's just an aging kind of squad. I think that's my point.
So, and then my next question was how old is Rodri? Because his game is quite low in intensity in terms of like the impact on him. That's why he's available for so.
But I think I mainly picked out Rodri was because most of the times when he was injured, they didn't seem like the same team.
How old is he?
I don't know. He's in his mid-20s, I think.
Yeah, he'd be near the end.
No. He's not. I don't think
he's that old. Yeah, I think he's like 26 or
26, 27.
Listen,
Okay,
what
so
everyone does. Everyone predicates their predictions hoping City's going to fall off, and they show us time and time again that they're not going to do that, bruv.
No, I mean, at some point they're going to have to fall off. But I just think in terms of them aging, I don't know. I think Kevin De Bruyne was probably the biggest person who's aging. And again, he didn't really play that much last season. No, but if they can replace him, and do you know what I mean? If they can replace him, then I still can't see it being beyond their reach. Sorry, yeah.
But I do see what Dre's saying because they have got an aging team, and it's where they have players basically at the opposite end of the spectrum. You got the older players, and you got like the real young players, like
especially if you compare it to someone like Arsenal.
Yeah, and Arsenal were young, but obviously now those same players are now more mature after playing like 2-3 seasons.
But isn't that age their age kind of countered by the winning experience that Man City have as a squad?
No, but as you said, at some point, the empire has to fall, and this is probably around the time whereby they've won 4 in a row now.
Yeah, 4 in a row.
So they go for 5th.
And it's hard to motivate as well, isn't it?
Harder to motivate. You've got players that's won everything. You've got
Pep's going as well. Who knows?
Potentially, who knows? But I think to Dre's point is the fact that you got aging players. KDB is not going to be playing throughout this whole season. But last season when he was injured, they had Alvarez, but Alvarez is no longer is now gone.
Yeah, Rodri's 28 and Bernardo Silva's 30.
Yeah. And again, when Haaland was out, Alvarez slotted in. So the next signing that they need to get to replace Alvarez, he needs to obviously fit like a glove to be able to cover for KDB, or there needs to be a player for KDB and a player to cover for Haaland, and now Bob. So yeah, it could potentially happen. But
I think Arsenal should have a great time this season. I know Strives is not really into it because again he's wanting to strengthen in certain positions, which I get. But I still think the main crux of your team, bar like a striker, that I would say I agree with you the most. Like everything points to what you're doing. You're doing everything in the right way. Like you for one, when you're not conceding goals, that which I think was like one of your main highlights last year, you was hardly conceding. So for this year, if again everyone contributes and scores the goals, and Man City don't play that well, there's no reason to say why you wouldn't win it.
So this is the thing. Like again, it's just like if this happens, if that happens, if Martinelli,
that's what you just said about Arsenal being injured. And you said Arsenal, if Arsenal don't have the same season where they don't have all of their players, this may happen. So it is a thing of if.
You get what I'm saying? But there's so many different variables that we're hoping on in order to kind of substantiate this prediction that Arsenal's going to topple Manchester City to the title. And I feel like there's just a little bit too much hoping for me. I'm not saying we're not going to compete. I'm not saying we're not going to compete at all. I think we will compete. I think we're going to be in the mix. But just for me, I've seen how the story ends.
But we'll move on. But when you say there's too many variables for Arsenal, what are they? If they don't have
if Jesus isn't injured, if Partey isn't injured,
but then isn't it the same for City as well? It's like if all of the players are fit, they'll do. But we know that's not going to happen. There is going to be players are out, and it's basically how your squad adapts. And
Partey was injured last season as well, wasn't he?
But you support Man City when you decide to put your faces on. You tell me, last season I was very confident, and one of the reasons I was very confident Arsenal was going to win the league is Gundogan had gone. Mahrez was no longer there. Cole Palmer, that looked like an emerging talent in the under-21s Euros, they'd sold him off to Chelsea. The players that they brought in, I didn't think that it matched the players that Arsenal had brought in terms of to where we raised our ceiling, and still still they picked us.
But I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing that.
I'm just saying that there's more for me to go on to suggest that City are always all right.
No, I'm not disputing that. I think my thing was the fact that you think Liverpool will be closer to Arsenal, to City than Arsenal. That would be the grab. If you think that Arsenal are not going to win it, that's fine. But I don't think Liverpool will be closer.
Okay, fair it is. That's fair.
But if I move on, one thing I've noticed is that so MJ, you put Villa 5th. Dre, you put Villa 5th. Jules, you put Villa 5th. Come to you, Jules, because I haven't gone through your list so far. Why do you think Villa will come 5th? Bearing in mind they got Champions League this season, so they have to balance the squad a bit more.
I feel like, for example, Eddie Howe had no experience in European competitions. We saw the effects of that. We saw the effects of Champions League on Leicester as well when they got into the Champions League. And I think Brendan Rodgers he did have some European experience in his defence. But I feel like Unai Emery, again, he's a well-seasoned European manager. Obviously, the most decorated European Cup. Sorry, not European Cup, Europa Cup winner or European League, whatever it's called. So I feel like in terms of going into the Champions League, or even they played European Conference last season, these guys know what they're kind of up against. Obviously, it's going to be more of a difficult competition, and maybe they won't do too well in the Champions League. But I don't think that them going into Europe is going to be a shock to the system. I think they're the manager and the club who experienced it last season should be ready for that challenge. Not ready in personnel, because you can't get the best players if you can't get the best players. But in terms of the demands and the 50 to 65 games per season, they should be ready for that.
Do you think they've got weaker though? Obviously, who's it they lost? Was it
Luis?
Douglas Luiz and brought in Onana.
Yeah, I don't think Onana is necessarily better than Douglas Luiz, but what I will say is that I don't think Douglas Luiz was all that. I don't think he's irreplaceable. I think he's quite easily replaceable, to be fair.
Just on one thing you said, Joe, I need to fact check it, but as far as I can remember, when Emery's in Europe, his league position normally suffers. He may win the Europa, but at Sevilla it will suffer. At Villarreal it suffers. So that's something that we probably need to factor in. I think that's why I put Villa 7th, because I don't think their squad is as big as to manage it.
But they were in the European Conference last season. And
but the thing is, there's levels between Champions League and Europa Conference. So you could probably rest players for Europa Conference, but if you want to get far in Champions League, you need to be utilizing your team a lot more. So you're stretched.
From my memory, I don't think they were resting players for European Conference League.
Yeah, but the level's different. You know, you don't run as hard or whatever.
It is, but the only difference is that you are traveling. There is a traveling during the midweek game, and I think that's the its bulk. Because bearing in mind, nobody expects. We expect him to play his best team, but we don't expect him to win in the Champions League, and that won't be the expectation from the board either, in my opinion. But yeah,
cool. This was meant to be a very, very quick episode, but I think we've probably gone a bit over. Before we wrap it up, in terms of people's predictions, is there anything anybody wants to call out before we close out?
I did actually battle between having Arsenal and Man City at top, but Dre raised some good points, to be completely honest. But I think MJ's being very bogus by putting Man United 3rd, bro.
We'll see, man.
But I was going to say as well that it's interesting how everyone I can't remember everyone's, but Chelsea was it was in the still in the mix, but here and there on everyone's list.
Mess, bruv. And it's only right that they fell, bruv, this season, bruv.
Yeah, I want them to fall.
I want them to as well, man. But I do feel they'll exceed people's expectations. I want them to fail because they're just messing up the games. But I do think they'll do decent, man.
So Joey, I just noticed something. You put Spurs above Liverpool.
Yeah.
Bro, thank you, because I knew there was something.
Yeah, I did. Sorry, and what's crazy is that I didn't mean that Spurs are going to finish above Liverpool, but what I meant to put
that's the prediction.
No. I know. But obviously, with Preston and everything, I didn't really have time to think. But I do think that Liverpool are going to finish 4th, or not. They're not going to finish above 3rd.
But Do you want to do your list? Do you want to do your thing again? Because you put Liverpool 4th and Spurs 3rd.
I think, okay, basically I did that because I think Spurs are going to overachieve in my expectations of them. And I think Liverpool are basically kind of pinned to that 4th place just because of how it's going in terms of like first manager season. We haven't strengthened. And I don't think there's anybody out there who I think is going to, as Strives would say, push the needle at a club if we bring them in. I can't identify anybody mentally who's going to do that. I think we're going to sign that Georgian goalkeeper, but we're loaning him out for 2 seasons.
It's been confirmed.
Yeah, he's getting loaned out for 2 seasons.
I feel like you just want to say lower than what I said for Arsenal.
Well, we're not playing higher or lower.
That's what I feel. That's what I feel like you're doing.
If you feel maybe
for the rest of this,
maybe because you're feeling guilty. Maybe because you're feeling guilty because that's what you did. But
no, that's not what I done. I genuinely believe you're going to be in the top 3. You're going to be in the top 3. You're going to be in the mix.
We could be because we have got good players. But sorry, do you know what it was? I watched Liverpool versus Las Palmas. I don't know if any of you guys watched that or saw anything, but Darwin Núñez, man, like that guy was so bad in that game, bro, man. Like he was bad. And then I saw Endo, and he played in that game, and he started off shaking, grew into the game, man. But from what Klopp wants from that number 6, or I'm not going to say wants, what he needs from that slot. What Slot needs from that number 6 position is somebody who's comfortable on the ball, who can receive it under pressure and can make from deep. That's not Endo. And McAllister can do that. And I guess Gravenberch is good in tight spaces, but Gravenberch isn't a playmaker. And I don't think McAllister is as comfortable as Slot want. Sorry, I don't think McAllister is as comfortable as Slot would want him to be in that area where there's so much traffic.
So
I am worried.
Della, before you wrap it up, how many people had City top, and then how many had Arsenal top? Just so
let's say 60% City and 40% Arsenal. So yeah.
Bearing in mind, Marley Miles a fraud. He basically said Arsenal was top.
I don't really believe it. I don't really believe it.
Yeah, but before we close, that one thing is because I was battling between putting United 4th or 5th. I eventually went with United 4th. With Spurs 5th, only because I think Spurs United. Oh no, you're in Europa, isn't it?
Yeah, we are.
Are Spurs in Europe?
Yeah, they are.
They're in Europe.
They're in the rubbish one. They're in the rubbish one.
Oh, yes. I'm putting 5th. I'm putting United 5th and Spurs.
Why did you?
I'm leaving. No, I initially thought United were in the conference. I thought based on their squad.
No.
Spurs would have been stretched because their squad not that big and they're in Europe but I thought they were in higher competition.
Sorry, but why did you put United 4th though?
Why did I put United 4th?
No, Della. What do you feel like? What do you think is redeeming about them to finish in top 4?
I think they've signed well.
Okay.
And as I said, it's a toss-up. They've signed well, but I need to see what Ten Hag can do. And I was basing it on how he ended the season in terms of how he became a bit more pragmatic. So if he applied that same approach and being pragmatic with his new set of players that he's bought, I think they can hold out. Coaching team. Whereas I think like Spurs with Ange, I just felt like they'll tail off because their squad's not as big.
Okay.
And they're playing in Europe as well.
I think they're going to also prioritize trying to win that conference because I think Spurs
are in Europa.
Is it Europa? I thought it was Europa Conference.
Who got a conference?
You know what? I'm back.
Chelsea got conference.
Chelsea got a conference. Yeah.
They're in Europa. Okay, fair.
Yeah, if they're in conference, then I would have put them definitely 4th over United. But
the only thing I would say is, like you said, Dilla, I think Ten Hag's worked with a lot of those players before as well. So if he can't get a tune out of players that he's worked with before, then he's got a long ride ahead. Yeah, exactly.
But cool. All right then, listeners, that was our predictions. As they say, like, comment, let us know what you think of it. But yeah, it's on wax, it's online. So come the end of the season, we'll review it again. So yeah, listeners, thank you for rapping with us. We'll be back again at our usual time on Monday. Peace out.